Labor is demanding the Prime Minister apologise for that comment, suggesting that living in remote Indigenous communities is a lifestyle choice. The controversy comes as peak Indigenous organisations have met to discuss their response to federal funding cuts to a number of Indigenous organisations. But here's what the Prime Minister had to say yesterday.
It is not unreasonable for the state government to say that if the cost of providing services in a particular remote location is out of all proportion to the benefits being delivered, that fine, by all means live in a remote location, but there's a limit to what you can expect the state to do for you if you want to live there. What we can't do is endlessly subsidise lifestyle choices if those lifestyle choices are not conducive to the kind of full participation in Australian society that everyone should have.
Tony Abbott speaking yesterday, and we'll bring you the update on his comments this morning, clarifying that. Wendy Morton joins us now, though. She's the CEO of the Northern Territory Council of Social Services, and she joins us now from Darwin. Wendy Morton, good morning. Thanks for making time for us.
Good morning.
We'll get to the issue of the funding cuts to those organisations in just a moment, but first of all, is it a lifestyle choice to live in a remote Indigenous community if you are an Indigenous Australian?
Look, I think those comments are very simplistic comments and very much ignore, I guess, culture and history and the complexity of culture and connection to land, but also, you know, are very simplistic about the impact of what those comments have and the impact of closing those communities. You know, the connection that people have to that land. It ignores the complexity then when people are moved into towns, the homelessness, the issues that go with that. So I think overall they're just very simplistic comments that and ignore that impact.
So Wendy, how do you solve the problem then of people wanting to have their connection to land, which is something that is well recognised in this country, with the difficulty of actually providing the sort of services that thriving communities need, the cost of having schools nearby, of having medical services nearby, of having shops nearby? How do you resolve that conundrum?
Look, I think all people are entitled to basic services to be delivered, and sometimes it may not be that there's actually a school there, but it's access to school. And it's the support to make people want to go to school, and I think that's what some of the issues have been about. It's about what purpose that has for people, and I think people ignore also the issues that go with people living in those communities. People aren't just sitting around, there's culture, there's tradition to be taken care of.
Tony Abbott said this morning he was stating a general principle, and I'll quote him now, and look, some people support what the West Australian government is doing, that's in closing down some of those communities, and some people oppose it. Tony Abbott has described himself as the Prime Minister for Indigenous Australia. Do these comments, in your view, bear out that title?
No, and I think one of the things that comes to me is it's about the lack of communication again, and Indigenous leaders are wanting to talk to the Prime Minister. They're wanting to engage in